Welcome to tonight's Thursday night edition of the Klown podcast. I'm Scott Burks, co-host of Wayne Nash. Please check him out on the yard /HBCUSports. You see in the background there as he raps about all things HBCU sports, as well as SLZE Radio, aka Sleazy Radio, every Tuesday on Facebook Live. Him, the coach, and Lou.
Yes, sir.
Sweet Lou, catch him. You'll be in their show to inform and entertain you at the same time. Also, check out his great work on herosports.com, where he writes about all things FCS athletics as it pertains to HBCUs. As your boy here, you see it right here on my hat. We'll talk about the merch a little bit. The clowntimes.net, that's my sports blog, www.theclowntimes.net. And you can check me out on Facebook as well. So whether you're your smartphone, desktop, laptop, wherever you are, wherever it may be, you can catch me there as well. And oh yes, the aforementioned merch.
Go get it.
CafePress.com. Search for the Clown Time Sports. I have the link in the description underneath. In the description, once I upload this bad boy to YouTube, you find the gear there as well. And also, one more house cleaning item. Oh yeah. Please keep subscribing. We picked up some more subscribers this week. And also thank y'all for pushing us over 200 subscribers. Again, I celebrate the small victories. I celebrate them every day, every time I get some. So hey, onward to 300. So
yes, sir.
As always, feel free to, please subscribe first, then like and share, comment. Again, if you don't agree with what we have to say, go off on us. We don't give a damn. We'll pay it. We'll get right back at you. But anyway, we love the interaction. So seriously though, please feel free to like, share, and comment and subscribe. We'll be glad you did, and you'll be glad you did. So let's get to it. NFL week 1. Week 1 came and passed. There were quite a few shocking items, my man. What shocked me were a few things. A, my beloved Steelers actually winning in Buffalo. I did not see that shit coming. I mean, I asked my boy, one of my college buddies, he's Australian, but he lives in Buffalo. He's been living in Buffalo for the past almost 20 years. And he's a school teacher there. But I basically asked him, I'm almost quoting myself, can you do me a favor and ask your boys not to beat down my squad by 2 touchdowns and a field goal? I'd appreciate it, because I could have sworn it was going to be a beatdown. Turns out it wasn't. The game was all locally here in Cincinnati. And wow, I mean, defense wins, man. Defense travels. Special teams, good special teams does as well.
That's too. Exactly.
But the defense really travels. That's the take-home message there. Also, Philadelphia putting a beat down Atlanta. I figured Atlanta would be rebuilding. I didn't think they would be that sorry looking at week 1 at home. Made Jalen Hurts look like a world beater. And props to him. I'm happy for him. He's been taking a lot of flack over the offseason. People thought that they should win for a quarterback early in the draft. So I'm happy for him. And also the way like Cleveland competed. Yeah. In Kansas City. Hey, if there's anything, I don't believe in good losses. Let's put it that way. But I'll say this: you can look good in a loss and learn a lot about yourself. And I learned, as much as I despise Cleveland as a Steelers fan, I think Cleveland's going to be a fucking problem. I think they're going to be a problem.
Yeah, if they continue to play like they did on Sunday, they will be. And I feel bad. I hate saying that one play is the determining factor on whether or not a team wins or loses.
Sure, of course.
But my God, I feel bad for Jamie Gilliam. Shout out to Gilliam, who's an HBCU product out of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Fumbling that punt, putting Kansas City in great territory in order for them to score. Yeah. But I'll say this real quick. God, the verdict isn't necessarily out on this just yet. But it's starting to look like a carryover of last season where Kansas City just looks bored at times through games. And then they just say, hey, it's time for us to turn it on. Okay, let's turn it on. We'll go ahead and win this game.
They can score at will like crazy.
And it almost seems as though that they can score at will. you know, and that's exactly how it looked, you know, on Sunday. Right. You know, normally those type of special team accidents don't happen, but for that to happen, and then of course everything else take place, yeah, well, it's just looking like it all over again.
And the punter dropping the ball instead of kicking the damn thing away, he chose to run with it.
Yeah,
that too.
Yeah.
So it's and plus Baker didn't deliver in the fourth. I mean, I feel bad for him because he had a pretty good game, but he didn't deliver when they needed him to, when he was had to play from behind because of those aforementioned mistakes on special teams, not just with the brother who muffed the punt, but the punter who cut the damn ball and forgot to kick it. So for some reason. But anyway, they're going to be a problem. And also the Bengals, almost bingling the game away. I don't know if you watched it, but it was obviously on here on Fox. But you're the head coach. You're up 21-7. You're cruising. You have 4th and 1 on your own 30-yard line. Common sense tells you to kick the damn ball because your defense is playing well. You got the momentum. But the damn coach decides to go for it, gets stuffed. Minnesota turns that to a touchdown, and then it leads to overtime. And then, which ironically, thanks to another gutsy 4th down call from near midfield, which then that big completion after Joe Burrow checked out that play, the running play, to go kind of deep to the tight end that set up the game-winning field goal. So it was crazy, but I mean, I was curious to see how Joe Burrow will do. He looked fine. He just needs a line to protect him.
Yeah. And remember, we talked about that during the draft.
Yes.
But they decided to go and get
Jamar Chase. And he looked good too.
Yeah.
He looked good.
Yeah. And it's a situation that we discussed was, okay, they sacrificed getting that lineman, which they ended up getting in the 2nd round, if memory serves me correctly.
Sure.
And the thing was whether or not he was going to be capable of getting the ball out of his hands quickly. And being that I didn't get a chance to watch the game, you did. I'm going to go ahead and guess that he did do that often, which kind of partially negated the blitz or the pass rush. But at the same time, they were still able to get back there, by the way it sounds, talking to you. Yeah. So the question is, will they be able to keep that, or will he be able to keep that up, well, along with the O-line as well, throughout the entire season? Because if he can't, and they get back at him, you know, it's going to be problematic, especially for a dude that's coming back off that knee injury from last year.
Yes.
And that's the one thing this team cannot deal with in the consecutive season is losing their starting QB to an injury. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how the offense continues to play throughout the rest of the season.
And the starting QB, a young guy who looks the part.
Yeah.
Top overall pick, but he has the goods. He just needs to be protected, like any other quarterback, obviously.
Of course.
But he needs to be protected to show off his talent. He has weapons.
Yeah.
And, you know, T. Higgins from last year's draft, the 2nd round. He was a 2nd round pick. And, you know, they still have that running back from Oklahoma who just got signed to a contract stretch, I think.
Joe Mixon. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Joe Mixon. He looks so they have the skill position players. They're young. The most important thing is they're young at those skill position players. They just need a line to protect them. So basically, and we may have my Cincinnati guy back on here next week talking about Cincinnati sports as well, because they got a game with Pittsburgh next week. But the point is that, you know, you hope that they now build a line, whether it's through free agency, well, both free agency and the draft. Because again, you have to protect your investments. You got to make sure that your quarterback can get the ball to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, can't hand the route to Joe Mixon out of the backfield. They got the skill position players. They just need to improve up front. That's what's holding this team back. And as long as they keep doing that, they play well defensively against Minnesota. So they're right. The fans here are seeing that seeing glimpses of what could be. You know what I'm saying? But again, I don't make much from week 1. It's a damn marathon. We all know that in NFL. 17 games. You know what I'm saying? So, but still, teams like Cincinnati needed a good start. They needed a good start. But one more thing I'll say about last week's games is it sucks to be a Ravens fan right now. Your team controlled the game for damn near 50 out of 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Of regulation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, turnovers. How many times we said this? How many times we've seen this? Time and time again. Turnovers. Lamar Jackson, take care of the football, bro. You got to take care of the football. He was balling. He was doing well, but turnovers led to 2 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, including one that won the game for him for Oakland.
In overtime.
For Las Vegas, keep calling Oakland. Las Vegas in overtime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a game that Baltimore had no damn business losing.
Not at all. Not at all, especially when they were gifted that non-touchdown in overtime as well during that first drive. Oakland makes that big play. Well, Derek Carr makes that big pass play. The wide out gets caught short, even though it was originally called a touchdown. He gets caught at the 1 yard line.
Shaking hands and dapping each other up and everything. They had to go back out.
They thought the game was over with. I thought the game was over with. But, first in goal at the 1. And I'm thinking, okay, well, 1, it would be nice if you go ahead and get a rock to Jacobs, because I need some fantasy points, right? Right. But, they try the QB sneak. They try 2 pass plays that don't work. And then they try another play that they end up throwing an interception. That's what it is. They end up throwing an interception in the end zone. And I'm saying to myself, actually said on social media, it looks like the Raiders are out here raidering. They basically had the game in their grasp at the 1 yard line and couldn't convert and couldn't score. The Ravens start the drive and then they turn the ball over. And of course, the Raiders end up eventually winning the game in overtime. But the one game that you did not touch on, and I'm surprised that you didn't, was the New Orleans Green Bay game.
Oh yeah.
Was a game, that a lot of people talked about leading up to, because there was 2 playoff teams from last year, 2 teams that a lot of people thought would end up looking good again this year, and quite possibly winning their respective divisions. Sure. But as I like to say on Sleazy Sports, no one expected that mollywhopping to happen, especially down in Lambeau, and not expecting Aaron Rodgers to play.
It was on the road. Yeah, it was on the road. Well, actually, it was in Jacksonville, because the game was supposed to be in New Orleans, but
that's right. It was in Jacksonville. Oh,
and they moved it to Jackson. But you see, it's funny about when I'm speaking of Jacksonville. What's his name? Sean Payton just wanted to play in Jacksonville because of the heat. He knew the heat would get to the Packers, use that as an advantage. Which is why the Saints dressed in the white shirts in the heat. But the thing is that. But I don't think it has anything to do with Jameis Winston having the stat line that they had: 14 to 20 for 140 yards and 5 touchdowns. One of them on the bomb. So out of 14 complete passes, 5 was for touchdowns.
What a difference a day makes. Man. Well, and LASIK surgery too, right? Because that was the one thing that I kind of talked about and kind of alluded to it. God, I can't remember the corner's name that was here in D.C., complained about having sight issues when he was here. The team doctors wouldn't address it. Goes to San Francisco the following year, gets LASIK surgery, ends up having the most interceptions ever in his career in a single season, and goes to the Pro Bowl that year. So I'm a proponent. Whenever a player says he needs LASIK, he gets it. He has the capability of coming back that following year and having a big year. Now, the one thing that he does that Drew Brees does not do, especially later on in his career, is throw the deep ball. Right. And Drew kind of joked about it Monday night, when he was doing his commentary at his new job. But yeah, you get him in that situation where he's no longer playing in that no risk it, no biscuit offense of Bruce Arians, in more of a pass control situation with the quarterback whisperer of Sean Payton. That's what you get. And then, of course, you end up getting Aaron Rodgers playing like complete and utter basura. There's some people out there who actually believe that Aaron Rodgers is out there throwing a game. I'm like, come on now, stop playing. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You got a guy that's on his last year of his contract, who is looking to continue to play potentially, right?
Right.
Those are the overtures he's putting out there that he potentially wants to go someplace else and play, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if he's on this last year of his deal, he's looking to get a new contract elsewhere.
Right.
It would behoove him to play well. Yes. Right. Why would he throw it away? How many people that have more sense than what they have coming up with these concepts and saying, oh, he wants to go ahead and ruin the Green Bay Packers and do what? Give them another draft pick so they can end up another high draft pick so they can end up giving the quarterback that they have there now that's going to back him up. That's going to end up replacing him potentially next year. Mm-hmm. More help? Duh, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But my thing is this: shorten preseason in a league where teams don't take preseason seriously anyway. I'm with you. I take week 1 with a grain of salt.
Yeah. It's
more so week 2 that I'm concerned about. And of course, those numbers have been tossed around like cheap liquor at a college party. We all know the stats. I'm going to go ahead and run through them again. Yeah. Since 2007, there have been 118 teams that have gone 0-2. Only 12 have ever made the playoffs after that. So about 10% of those teams since 2007 have started 0-2 and made the playoffs. None of the teams last year that went 0-2, which was 11 of them, made the playoffs after going 0-2, even though 2 games came close. Miami Dolphins, who went 10-6, and the New York Giants, who almost won a division going 6-10.
Right. On
the converse, you get a team that's 2-0, and the chances of them making the playoffs are a little bit higher, even though, what's that number? That's 9. So that's 9 carry the 1. 70 teams out of, 70 teams out of 57. I'm sorry, 70 teams out of 107 teams total since 2007 have made the playoffs going 0-2. So yeah, a lot of those matchups where there are 3 matchups, well, actually 4 matchups where there are 2 1-0 teams in it, and then 3 matchups, including tonight's matchup between the Giants and the Washington football team, where they're all 0-2, which could determine someone's fate for potentially determine someone's fate, knowing that stat line of being 0-2, 2-0, and what that means for your playoff life during that regular season.
Well, I want to give a quick shout out before we move to our picks to your boy, Scary Terry McLaurin, with the catch. I don't give a damn what happens in weeks 2 through 17 to 18. That's the catch of the year. Over the shoulder, falling back, a guy flying over him, defensive player flying over him, about to make we thought was going to be an interception, goes to him, and he just lays right in McLaurin's breadbasket, leaning back, going out of bounds. That's the catch of the year. I don't know if you saw it or not. I did not. Bro.
When did it happen? Was this last week?
It happened Sunday.
Wow, yeah.
It's the Chargers.
Lord Jesus.
Bro, you a fan. You man.
It's been a busy past couple of weeks. I've been peeking in and out of that game. Yeah, and I missed that pass. Lord Jesus. I swear.
Well, I'll pray for you. No, I'm kidding. But go check it out on Twitter. They've been playing it to death on Twitter. So yeah, you'll probably see it on ESPN.com as well, or definitely NFL.com. So check it out there. But yeah, you'll be like, so there you go. Picks, yes. So I'm gonna run right through these picks right quick. You can run right through yours if you like, or you just clown mine if you want. But Thursday night's game tonight, obviously, watching the Giants play the Washington football team. I'm gonna stick with what I picked. I picked Washington before the game. The game's not over yet. I'm not panicking, but I like the Washington football team over the Giants. Sunday's games, I got my Steelers over the Raiders, Saints over the Panthers, Bears over the Bengals, Browns over the Texans, Rams beating down the Colts, Broncos beating the Jaguars, Buffalo beating the Dolphins, Patriots beating the Jets, 49ers beating the Eagles, Cardinals beating the Vikings, Buccaneers over the Falcons, Chargers over Cowboys, Seahawks over Titans, Chiefs over Rams, Chiefs over Ravens. I'm sorry. And last but not least, a Monday night's game, Packers over Lions.
Mm-hmm.
I feel good about my picks. I feel real good about them.
Okay, well, I'm going to go down the line with mine. I'm going to start with the matchups that involve both teams as 0-1. And whoever loses this game, chances are they probably don't make the playoffs. Tonight's game, New York at Washington. And, of course, I'm going to be a homer in this situation. Mm-hmm. Even though Daniel Jones has basically ruined the happiness of the Washington football team and their fans for the past 2 seasons, I'm taking Washington Monday night, like you said, Green Bay and Detroit. One thing that always fixed the ails of the Green Bay Packers, regardless of what they do the week before, is whenever they face the Detroit Packers, I'm taking Green Bay to win that game. And then in the AFC East, you have the Patriots and the Jets. The winner of that, the loser of that game goes 0-2. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Patriots in that one. Now in the matchups where teams are 1-0 and have an opportunity of going 2-0 and potentially improving their playoff chances, Cincinnati and Chicago. Ooh, that's going to be tough.
It was tough for me to pick this one.
Yeah.
It's tough for me to pick this one.
I'm going to go ahead and being that it's in Chicago, I'm going to take my chances and take the Bears in this one. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the quarterback situation in that one. Pittsburgh and will face the Vegas Raiders. I'm going to take the Steelers in that one. Philly and San Francisco. This one's going to be interesting as well, right? What do we see from Philly last week? Is Atlanta that bad, or is Philly that
that's
good?
The thing. Is it? What is it? We're about to find out, though.
We're really about to find out, especially with this hybrid offense that has been would look good for Shanahan in week 1. So I'm gonna take San Fran in that one. Carolina and New Orleans. I'm gonna take the Saints to go 2-0 in that one. Miami and all of these games have a team that's 1-0 versus 0-1. So of course, again, goes back to that whole thing of looking to go 2-0 and avoiding 0-2. I got Miami and Buffalo. I got Buffalo going 1-1. Cleveland and Houston. I got Cleveland winning. Dallas and the Chargers. I'm taking Dallas. Denver and Jacksonville. I'm taking Denver. Kansas City and Baltimore. I'm taking the Chiefs. Tampa and Atlanta. I got the Falcons going 0-2. The Rams in Indianapolis. I'm a little concerned about the Colts here in this situation. I'm going to take the Rams on the road. Arizona and Minnesota. I'm taking the Cardinals. Seattle and Tennessee. I'm taking the Seahawks in that one.
You know what? Going back to the Chiefs-Ravens game right quick. The Ravens needed that win over the Raiders because it's going to be tough sledding to start 0-2 because the Chiefs have owned them the past few seasons. And I don't care if they're going to have their crowd back in Baltimore Sunday night. The Chiefs are a tough out, man. I don't see them keeping up with scoring with them. I just don't see it.
And the Raiders kind of exposed them a little bit with them not having Marcus Peters back there. What do you think that Patrick Mahomes is going to do?
Yeah, that's why I don't. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. Moving into college football, week 2.
Wait a minute, what's uglier? That game potentially, or the Fat Joe JaRule VERZUZ battle?
I'm not even. I'm not even, bro. I'm not even. I'm not even gonna touch that shit with 10-foot pole, 10-foot times 10 pole. I'm not even gonna. I'm not even. And I love Fat Joe, but I'm not. Anything with JaRule is gonna end a disaster. I'm sorry. Check out that. If anyone have not seen that documentary on that failed.
The Fire Stick.
Yeah.
Watch them both. There are 2 of them, and oh my God, the dude that works. That worked for the Fire Festival, that was looking to do whatever he could so that he could get water for those unfortunate people who actually paid and made it to the island. Yeah. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard some about that. They covered some in the Netflix documentary.
Yo, talk about a team player.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
What
they wanted the gay friend to do. I'll leave it like that.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yo, if you ever get an employee like that, get that man more raise.
Yes.
My God.
Yes.
Jeez. But yeah, my
going to do it too.
Is,
but yeah.
Oh, he was willing to do it too. My God. But yeah. So well, real quick, I thought Fat Joe had the first half. second half, Fat Joe was trying to promote his album, and it's not ringing out the same way. Not to say that it's bad work. It just didn't ring out the same way as JaRule's classics. It is what it is. Right. But, I was just hoping that JaRule will come out with this mesmerized cardigan sweater. But, disappointment. It is what it is. But, yeah, moving on. I'm sorry to bring that up.
No, it's okay. It's hilarious. No, I can't get that out of my mind. Moving right along. Yo, big things happened over the weekend in college football. With 3.
Yes.
And it all involved a blue blood being taken down a peg or 2 or 3, right? Mm-hmm. We're starting in Columbus, where Oregon, even though the score was 35-28, it was a beatdown. It
didn't feel like it.
It was It was a beatdown. I mean, I don't know if you watched the game, but Oregon
I did watch it.
Just took it to those boys in Columbus at a 12 o'clock noon game, which meant they were on 9 o'clock their time in the morning, their time. Down a few people on the defensive side of the ball, they still smacked them around. I mean, Ohio State got to the 28 in garbage time.
Yeah, and I was highly impressed by the way that the Oregon Ducks looked in that game. Now, what's that? The quarterback's name is God. I just had it. Why are you giving me that? I don't want that.
From Ohio State.
Quarterback's name for Oregon. Not Oregon. I'm sorry, for Ohio State.
C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud. I thought it was C.J. Stroud. Yeah, C.J. Stroud had a big day. 484 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the pick. Right. And Ohio State had 3 receivers to gain more than 100 yards total.
Right.
But Oregon with God, what's the quarterback's name? Last name's Brown.
Yeah.
He had over
Anthony Brown.
Anthony Brown.
Yeah.
He had over 300 total yards of offense with the 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. CJ Verdell.
Yes, he was a beast.
He was a monster in that game.
He was a beast. Yeah.
Made Ohio State's defense look foolish, which I can't remember a time, and I know it's hyperbole.
Sure.
I know it's probably happened, right?
Right.
But I can't remember a time where a running back has made Ohio State's defense look so foolish. With 161 carries on 161 yards, 161 carries would be a record. 161 yards, 20 carries, 2 touchdowns. They look phenomenal. But the thing that shocked me the most was the fact that Ohio State's defense could not get to the QB, and Oregon's defense got to the QB twice, and it had those 3 tackles for losses, which were detrimental in that game.
Sure. And here's another blue blood that got taken down a peg or 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. Remember when people say this about this team every single year?
Yeah.
Texas, they have a big win in week 1 against Louisiana. Louisiana's gonna be a good squad out of the Sun Belt. But how do they follow that up? Getting their asses beat by Arkansas. Arkansas beat them by damn near by 20 points.
Yeah.
Arkansas. And I know Steve Sarkisian, he's a damn good offensive coach, but it just goes to show you, it don't matter who the coach is in Texas. It's they bound to disappoint every single year. Again, it's a long season. They could run the rest of the table,
They could, right?
11-1 for all I know. But the point is, they did not look good in Arkansas against an unranked SEC squad. And speaking of SEC, I got to ask Texas alums a question. Are y'all sure you want to join the SEC? Y'all sure about that? Is this what you want? Because this is Arkansas dealing this season. This ain't Alabama. This ain't Auburn. This ain't LSU. This ain't A&M. This ain't Georgia, Florida. Even Kentucky's decent. It's not those guys. It was Arkansas that kicked your asses.
What have I been saying ever since the announcement, right?
Yeah.
Texas, this could use Nebraska as a cautionary tale.
Yes.
I know everyone's happy about the branding of Texas, what this can mean for the SEC.
Recruiting. Yeah.
What this means for recruiting for the entire conference, especially for University of Texas. Mm-hmm. But my God, I've seen your resume in recent years, Texas. Yo, I haven't seen you do no work. Mm-mm. And it has the capabilities of you being the Nebraska of the SEC. And then this happens. This is exactly what I've been saying. You know what? I don't like to prove. I don't like to pat myself on the back when I'm right. Okay, that's a lie. I do.
Yeah.
But my God, I was right. God. And I know it's only one game and it's week 2. But my God, this don't look good for Texas. It don't. Texas, I see your future.
Yeah.
I see your future.
Yeah. In the crystal ball with your bandana earrings on.
Nostradamus is out here again. Yes. Oh my God. I swear, dude.
Man, I just can't believe that. Yeah, again, Texas, that's gonna be your future, you know.
Yeah.
Just want you to let y'all know. And speaking of futures, another team that lets us down every single year early on, USC got drugged by an unranked, currently rebuilding Stanford squad.
Yes.
To the point that their ass kicking was so bad, they got Clay Helton fired.
Yeah.
Mercifully fired, because he's been in the hot seat for the past 3 or 4 seasons. And again, USC scored the last touchdown in garbage time. It was a beatdown. It was 46-28 was the final score, but it was a beatdown. It was a total beatdown. You're about to say something like before I launch to what this means for USC just going forward.
Quick question, because during the spring, was USC in the Pac-12 championship game?
They might have been. I don't remember. I might have to look that up.
Okay, because I'm looking at what their record was during the spring.
I know they played only 6 games, I think.
Okay, so if it was only 6, they were 5-1. But before that, of course, they had 4 losses. 1, 2, 3. No, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses the year before that in 2019. Looks like 7 in 2018. So, if they're looking to make moves and they just weren't happy with what he's done over the past couple of seasons, I most definitely get it. But I'm also hearing that Matt Leinart was the one that was spearheading this firing. So, hey, when alumni starts talking that you need to get out of there,
he wasn't the only one.
Bro.
He wasn't the only one. Him and Keyshawn Johnson had a lot to say.
It's time for you to get out of there, bro. Yeah. It's time for you to get out of there. I don't know what you're going to do, but you won't be doing it in L.A.
You have to go home, but you got to get the hell up on out of here.
You got to get the hell out of here. You won't be doing it here, bro.
Well, that's a question, because a lot of people were pontificating from Paul Feinbaum to like the radio show, the morning show that Keyshawn Justice on with Jason Williams, and now
Jay Will,
which is a good show. They were like, okay, so who's the next coach? And like Keyshawn, I don't know, but whoever they do bring in, or people they bring in, you have to win the press conference, because you're USC.
Yeah.
You are a blue blood. You are a brand.
Yeah.
In the Pac-12. You have no damn business being mediocre with all that talent in your backyard in Southern California to recruit football. Because put it this way, Keyshawn brought this up earlier today. You had CJ Stroud, the other day, CJ Stroud, a Southern Californian, he's balling Ohio State.
Ohio State, yeah.
Bryce Young, another Southern Californian, is balling Alabama. DJ, is it CJ or is it DJ Ukulele? That kid that plays at Clemson, the quarterback, the big brother.
I think it's DJ. I think it's DJ.
DJ U. He's a Southern California guy. He plays at Clemson. So you have 3 guys in your backyard. You lost all 3 of them.
Not just the fact that you lost them, and not just the fact that you lost them outside of your conference or time zone. You lost them Bamas east of the Mississippi.
Yes.
Yeah.
That should not happen. Should never, ever happen if you're USC. Right in your backyard.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And then there should be a time where those guys, of course, would stay home.
Yes.
And play at the crib.
Yes.
Now so of course they're going to have to get a name to come in there and be their new head coach.
You have to.
The only name I've seen bounce around so far, you've probably seen more than me, has been Eric Bieniemy. The question is though, because the article that I read about Bieniemy was that he doesn't want that job to distract him from what he's doing currently with Kansas City.
Sure, of course.
And I get that, right? The question is though, does he think that USC is going to be better than a potentially bad team in the NFL as the new head man there? And that the answer to that probably would be if you can recruit well.
Right.
If you're able to keep that West Coast talent, that California talent there and play for you, then that job might be that much easier for you, right?
He's the LA guy with NFL connections. That's what they need.
Yeah. And if that pans out for him, most definitely I say take that job. Even though I would love to see him take an NFL job, and upset that he didn't get any of the jobs that were open over the past couple of seasons.
Sure.
But my God, we looking in the near future. My thought is the only spots that will probably open up will be bad teams again anyway. Right. So what you doing? Right. And a new job probably won't open up in the near future. Can you think of a guy that's on the hot seat right now in the NFL? Because a lot of those spots have already been filled. Unless someone's looking to get rid of a guy that's already that's only been there less than 3 years. And oddly enough, one of those guys, this of course is rumor, right? Urban Meyer is they're already talking. Yeah,
because they happened with Nick Saban with Miami way back in the day.
Yeah,
that's how he left Miami to get to Alabama.
Exactly.
And what's his name? Meyer wasn't so convincing when someone brought up at a news conference.
And not just Urban Meyer, because what's your boy's name that left Atlanta to go to Arkansas and stunk it up? They ended up having the
Bobby Petrino?
Petrino, yeah.
Really? Someone brought his ass up?
No. I'm just saying that you talking about guys.
You're reminiscent. Reminiscent.
Yeah,
I got you.
Guys
I'm sorry.
that ended up leaving the NFL job.
Okay,
that ended up going someplace else too. Oh God, no. Not that what he did in Arkansas. God, no.
Well, Joe Klatt
was doing it in Atlanta either, but yeah.
Yeah, Joe Klatt brought up today about his list of guys who, first of all, what they need to do is to bring in the guys to make them say no. Guys. To make them say no to SC guys. And one was Urban Meyer. Another one was Dabo Swinney from Clemson. Another one was, it wouldn't be Nick Saban. He's just too old. He's like, why would I go out to California at this stage of my life when I could keep racking chips in Alabama? Brian Kelly from Notre Dame was another one. I forgot the other two. So I mentioned what? Brian Day from Ohio State and Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma. Those are the ones that's your first five, set of five or whatever, to make them say no to you, wish list. Start there. And then he has a bunch of wild cards in his second list.
Okay, I gotta hit his wild card list.
Yeah, his wild card list. One of them was Eric Bieniemy, was one of them.
Okay.
Because he figured if you don't get these wild guys, at least get someone with NFL connections and who's also charismatic, who can bring in recruits, hire a great staff around you, right? Around him. I forget the other ones. But another name that stuck out to me, and we could almost segue us to the next segment.
I had a feeling.
Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders. He had that on his list too. Joe Klatt did.
Of course, right? But they're already clamoring for this dude already. Go ahead.
But I would say this, man. Whoever they bring in, they have to remember that they're SC. You're USC. You're the fucking Trojans. You should not be as great as Oregon is, as great as much as deep in pockets as Phil Knight has with Nike, who's an alum of the school, and whose Beaverton headquarters is not that far from Eugene. I would like to get there one day, by the way. See that headquarters for myself. Get some.
I heard that outfit was ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get the kicks and everything. But anyway, in the swag. Keyshawn said this, and I tend to agree. And I think Matt Leinart has alluded to this. Reggie Bush has alluded to this. They should not, SC should not be bowing to Oregon. They should not be coming second place to Oregon. Again, I do not care how deep Phil Knight's pockets are, and they're very deep. But they should not be ahead of SC. No way know-how, not with the branding, not with the tradition, not with the recruiting band. They're Southern California. They should be competing for chips every single year. And the Pac-12, their media rights are up in a couple of years. So imagine in 2024, 2025, but imagine if SC were any good.
Oh,
they could command top dollar.
Command top dollar.
Them in Oregon. And UCLA's playing better.
LA.
UCLA's playing better too. So imagine those two squads with Oregon. Yo, they could command mulas.
Yes, sir. Yes,
but they're not there because SC, just like Miami and the ACC and Florida State, if those Brandons were great, like Clemson is, and you could say Virginia Tech as well, if they were great, the ACC's pockets would be a lot deeper.
Yeah.
Right now, those are your football brands. You need them to be good. So anyway, whoever the hell they bring in, SC brings in, they have to remember their SC. They can't bring in people from Boise, no disrespect. They can't bring anyone from the MAC. They got to bring in top coaching talent. And again, make them say no to you.
Yeah. Now I find and I find it interesting that Deion Sanders is on that list. I get it. I understand why. But as a coach, what have you done?
Only 5 games last in the spring, right? 5 or 6, I forgot how many. And
a total of 8. He's coached a total of 8 games.
Yeah.
In a calendar year.
Right.
And he is legit 5-3.
Right.
Right now. Right. And of those 5 wins, I would say, okay, 2 of those are kind of surprises. And I'm saying kind of because Grambling was a surprise during the spring. But if you've been watching Grambling, they're kind of on the downfall. And Florida A&M, even though I picked them and a lot of other people picked them too to win that game, they hadn't played in over 600 days.
Right.
So you get those 2 advantages. And then, of course, you get Tennessee State, who they beat last week in the Southern Heritage Classic, head coached by Eddie George, who's a new head coach, who's looking to turn around a bad program himself. 5-3.
Yeah.
So you're floundering program in Grambling. A program looking to return in Tennessee State.
Corey hadn't played in 2 years.
And hadn't played in 2 years. FAMU.
Yeah.
Edward Waters, who is just coming up to Division II this season, this fall. And God, I forget who that 5th win was against. But that's
Mississippi Valley State, I think. Was it
Mississippi Valley State? Who was, my God, been stinking up the SWAC over the. I mean, I understand they got history with Willie Settle like Totten and Jerry Rice, and Deacon Jones, but they're on the verge, or I think they already are 0-2 for. God, they've been going 0-2 in consecutive seasons, going back to 2009, if memory serves me correctly. Maybe even further back than that. So those are who their 5 wins are against. Mind you, he is a personality. He can recruit. We've seen that, especially with what he's done so far.
Number 55 ranked recruiting class in the country. Not just FCS, but in the country.
At Jackson State. At FCS Jackson State.
Right.
So he has the ability to garner attention at a program, potentially revive one. And he's looking like he could. Well, the coaching staff is looking good so far right now, right? But this is the second time that they've gone 2-0 in consecutive seasons, being the spring and in the fall. The thing is, he has no coaching pedigree, no coaching success on a collegiate level. So are you hoping that your brand resurrects itself on a guy who we haven't seen do it on this level just yet? It's not to say that he can't. The question is, will he be able to? And I find that to be very interesting, even though ever since the spring, people have already been talking about Prime getting another job someplace else already. So even though he wasn't able to get the job at Florida State in Arkansas, they're already looking for this dude to upgrade already. So I just find that to be very interesting.
And we've been talking about already, so might as well get to the HBCU sports segment. We all saw that game. Deion Jones about to score, y'all. Oh, they threw a flag on the play. It's coming back. Anywho, it's a block in the back, I think. Which they have to throw the block in the back. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. We saw Jackson State versus Tennessee State in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
They damn near sold out the joint. They had over 41,000, right?
Yeah, they always do well at that game. But you go ahead and sprinkle in Eddie George and Deion Sanders in a pandemic, and that's what you get. Right. But like I said before, even in their lean years, they've done great attendance-wise. So the attendance thing wasn't the shocker for me. Mm-hmm. The shocker for me was how much better that defense is starting to look than what they looked in the spring. I mean, of course, with the hell of 5 recruits they brought in there, with Aubrey Miller and Keontae Hampton that they have playing linebacker. Those are 2 dynamic linebackers they got right now on that defensive side of the ball, as well as his son playing corner there. But it was Shador, his younger son Shador, who was the starting quarterback there, who had a phenomenal day. He had the 4th most passing yards in the history of the Classic. It was like 300.
He's a baller. He
is. He didn't necessarily look good against Florida A&M's defense in the rain game, but he sure made it up in spades in game 2. The question is, will both sides of the ball be capable of playing through that like that throughout the rest of the season? And they actually have an impress me game coming up this weekend. That game, of course, is against University of Louisiana Monroe, an FBS program.
Yep.
And one thing that the SWAC has not been able to do since 1985 is be the SWAC opponent. This is a perfect opportunity for the SWAC to do so, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Coached by Terry Bowden, Bobby Bowden's son.
That's right.
And Bobby just passed away.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? Bobby Bowden, who used to coach Deion at Florida State, is now over at Louisiana Monroe. They're going down there looking to get a payday of about $300,000. So, there's already been conversation about whether or not HBCUs should take these money games.
Yeah, money games.
And, there are emotions on both sides of the ledger. I'm of the
what do you think about that?
I'm of the house of, HBCUs need to make money. They do. And with fans not coming to games, not donating money to the level in which, Power 5 conferences do. Hell, not even on the level of what their counterparts in the FCS level are currently doing. And without a television deal and without the rights contracts that these other schools have, they're not getting the same type of money. So that's why they play these games. Now, of course, a lot of people have come out and said that they don't like to see HBCUs playing these games because, of course, they're playing against higher talent, and in some instances, because of the conditioning and how deep these FCS schools are, they're afraid of injury. Right. Now, Deion has come out and said recently during their press conference, he says normally you get paid to get beat, right? That's really the goal. Somebody pays you, your program makes more money than it normally would. I don't believe in that. I don't know how that helps everybody. It helps the budget, but it kills the morale. How can you get your butt kicked? I mean, literally kicked. Help you as a team. All money ain't good money. All money ain't good money. Now, I've been referring to Deion Sanders as the E.F. Hutton of HBCU football, right?
Right.
For those of you too young to know what that means, you're already on YouTube. Press pause, type in E.F. Hutton, you'll get what I'm saying, right? And come on back and watch the rest of the show. But he's the E.F. Hutton of HBCU football. Whenever he speaks, people listen. The thing is, oddly enough, he's been reiterating a lot of the things that other coaches have said in the past. I had a conversation with Delaware State head coach Rob Milstead played in the NFL for several years, won rings with the Niners and with the Washington football team.
Mm-hmm.
And we had this exact same conversation, right? We talked about, not going places, getting money only for your team to get beat down on. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even like going far to get beat down anymore. If you look at their schedule in 2019 and in this fall, they've had to combine, if my math is correct, 15 to 16 games that have been within 3 hours or 2 hours or less of their campus. They haven't had to go far at all over the past 2 seasons. Their furthest game that they're going so far this year is to Jackson City, Tennessee, which is this weekend against East Tennessee State University. Yes, that East Tennessee State that just recently beat Vanderbilt. So they're going eight hours out of the way to play them. So normally they don't go too far outside of Delaware to play their games. They make their money, but they don't necessarily get beat down in doing so.
Right.
My thing is, it's a combination of the two, because a player can get hurt in any game. A player can get hurt in practice.
Correct. Yes.
A player can get hurt in practice. It just looks worse when your team's getting beat down by a known entity and you have players that walk away and all you got to show for it is the fact that you came away with a check. Yeah. Now there's certain schools that are capable of beating these schools, primarily in the MEAC, or formerly of the MEAC when we talk about North Carolina A&T in recent years. But primarily there have been MEAC teams in recent seasons that have gone away and beaten these FBS programs. It just hasn't happened in the SWAC. Actually, South Carolina State has an opportunity of doing the same thing this weekend when they go play New Mexico State out there in New Mexico. Yeah. But I'm looking at Jackson State capable of having the capabilities of going down to Monroe, Louisiana, beating them and walking away with the money. But yeah, like I said, I understand both sides. But in order for them to stop playing those games and saying that these games are bad, I'm gonna need you to come up with a solution or how, because no one ever does, right? Right. They always say that these things are bad. Yeah. Okay. But no one ever comes up with a solution on how to fix these things. So I would like to see more solutions than what I come up with in ways of fixing these things. That's why they continuously do these things, because certain people just can't come up with answers. And until they do, this is what we're going to continue to get.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm kind of like with you though. I mean, you got to get paid. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these schools schedule, and then HBCUs aren't the only one.
No, they're not.
I mean, Mercer played Alabama last week.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The East Tennessee State, when they beat Vanderbilt paid them to lose them. Yes. So, you know, it's just, it happens. Smaller schools, that's why a lot of coaches from Power Fives, especially like a Dabo Swinney, he's in favor of still playing FCS schools because they make, he wants them to eat too. Yeah. And I'm glad that he looks at it that way, right? Because there are a lot of entities within the FBS realm that want to do away with these games, and understandably so to a degree, but not him, thankfully, because you know the relationship that he has there with South Carolina State primarily and Coach Buddy Pugh. Yeah. But the thing is, you know, it just happens to be, you know, HBCUs, we're in dire straits financially in some cases. And these are the things that we have to do in order to earn money, which looks like suicide to your program because you get beat down and you get physically beat down. And all you come away with was a check. And that's why we have this perception about these games that way. But yeah, all of these FCS programs do it. They do. I just say, you know what? If you want to make it a situation where you don't want to look like you're losers as much, then schedule these games against, I guess you can say, a group of 5 programs instead of Power 5, even though the Power 5 conferences pay more. Yeah. So you got to make your decision. Which one is more important? Generating that revenue, and in some cases, getting exposure, and even more cases, helping your talent get looked at and drafted. Because what is the one thing they keep talking about when these players on HBCU levels don't get drafted?
they need more exposure.
Right.
You know, one of the things that helped out Javon Hargrave and Darius Leonard get eyes on them, their games that they had against Clemson.
Mm.
That is the one thing that especially Mike Mayock, when he was reviewing their film, would always talk about was that game, their individual games against Clemson, and how they fared against the likes of the Tigers and Dabo Swinney. And when they hold their own and play well, just like Jacoby Durant, the quarterback currently at South Carolina State, these scouts will look at you more.
Right.
Because apparently they're not watching any other games, even
though that's been given.
You know,
by Deion and Fred Taylor said the same thing, but yeah.
Hell, I've been saying the same thing. I'm like, yo, these scouts are there.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't even say scouts. I'm going to go ahead and say GMs and owners. So the GMs and the owners, the decision makers, the real decision makers, they're not watching the same film, the same footage, the same tape, and they're not necessarily paying too much attention to what their scouts are saying. But when they hear somebody on TV say something, let's go investigate this guy. And that's how Graves get drafted in the 4th round. And Leonard, yes, thank you. And Leonard gets drafted in the 2nd round. So that's how that happens.
And people forget that Javon Hargrave, he had 36 sacks.
Yeah.
At South Carolina State. That's not a season.
No.
I don't care what level you're on. 9 sacks a season is 9 sacks a season.
Exactly.
And good for him for pulling that to the NFL career. But yeah, to your point, both their games against Clemson in different years put them on the map. I mean, let's just be real about it.
I mean, they played together and they did overlap. But I think at the time that Hargraves graduated, Leonard was a sophomore. But yeah, they still had games that they both highlighted in individual times. And that was the one thing that people always reference. Now, the scouts will point to the other games that they've had, especially within the MEAC where they look good, but everybody always talks about that Clemson tape. So, yes, it's a detriment, but it's also a benefit too. So it's a game, but you got to understand how to finesse it.
Right. You got to play it in the game. To your point, you got to play it in the game. You got to play with the parameters because they don't make the rules. No. Other FCS programs don't make the rules. Group of 5 schools don't make the rules. It's a Power 5 world, and everyone else is living in it. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Or you could be like coach of our A&T and be like, someone bring me my money.
Bring me my money.
Yeah.
That's just a situation.
When
you play against these group of 5 programs, and you're capable of going through and getting a win and getting some cash at the end of it. You know, with a couple of seasons ago with their wins over University of North Carolina at Charlotte and Jackson State and the Jacksonville State. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember. There's another win in Kent State a couple of seasons before that with Coach Broadway. So there's certain schools that have these big wins. Howard over UNLV a couple of years ago.
Yes.
You know, Bethune-Cookman had a win over FIU, if memory serves me correctly, a couple of years ago. So there are programs that steal these wins and against these other group of 5 programs. But again, it's not like a $900,000 check. I can't remember who got that, but somebody got that recently in the HBCU ranks playing against a Power 5 conference team.
Okay.
So you like I said, you got to weigh that. You do, and come up with alternative means of getting funds if you don't want to continue.
Was that A&T against Duke? Was the A&T getting the money against Duke? Because I know they played Friday.
They played last Friday. Yes, this is the second time that they played in a couple of seasons. I can't remember what that payout was, but of course it was a 6-figure payout, and of course the majority of these games are 6-figure payouts. Starting at around $250,000 to $300,000. Right. And you know that sounds like small change, but you're talking about programs whose budgets are like 9 million, 10 million, 11 million, 12, 14, 15 million, as opposed to budgets of the Power 5 conferences, which are 70, 80, 90 million.
Right.
So it's 2 different situations where that 6-figure check toss around money for them, but it's big to HBCUs.
Yeah, we'll talk more about this in the upcoming weeks because it's pretty big. Because to your point, we got another check game. You know, Jackson State, Louisiana Monroe, and a couple others. So we're probably going to keep talking about. We're probably going to keep talking about with some buddies from HBCU programs or HBCU universities, and who keep up with this kind of stuff like we do. And it's an ongoing conversation to be sure. So, all right. This is a wrap. This Thursday night edition of the Klown Podcast. Again, please check out the Way Nash, the Yards, HBCU Sports, reps about all things HBCU Sports, Sleazy Radio every Tuesday night on Facebook Live. HeroSports.com is great work when it goes over FCS athletics, discusses those things that pertain to HBCUs. Y'all see the website, www.theclowntop.net, and the merch.
Go get it.
CafePress.com, search for the Klown Time Sports. And last but not least, please subscribe to the channel. Continue to like, comment, and share. We dig it, we love it, and we love the new subscribers. Again, we're over 200. Thank y'all again. Give y'all a round of applause for rocking with us. We're going to keep doing that thing. We'll keep doing it from our end. So, let's keep it going. So on this note, please enjoy the game tonight and enjoy the games this weekend, college and pro. We out.